Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Brian, and on this channel you can expect to find tips and tricks on how to do farming, majorly poultry farming. Whether you are interested in farming business or just some general entertainment, I hope you'll find something on this YouTube channel that interests you. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with all my new videos. Thanks for stopping by, and I can't wait to see you in the comment section. So guys, today we are going to talk about how to get no mortalities for your chicks up to 1 month old after you have done with the brooding. So you have been trying to brood your chicks, but all has been in vain. So today I'm going to take you through. You will be able to achieve 100% transition from day old to mature chicken. Guys, let's take a step back. So 1 week before your chicks arrive on your farm, make sure you disinfect the house, because this will help to kill the microorganisms that are on the floor, the small bacteria, the small viruses that are stuck on the walls and on the rooftop of the chicken coop, and also that is on the ground. You can use bleach. The bleach is something known as sodium hypochlorite. The hypochlorite part of it is that it dehydrates the viruses and the small bacteria that are found in the chicken coop. You can use bleach. You can use a disinfectant that you have bought from your agrovet, and also wash your drinkers, feeders with soap and dry them in the sun till they are completely dry. And the reason why we are washing our feeders and drinkers is that if you have kept your feeders and drinkers in a coop or somewhere else, you can find that some rodents like the rats, they can poop there, and some of those rats usually have some infections that can affect the chicken in a later date. So guys, before the chicks arrive, let's say like 2 days before the chicks arrive, the first thing that you have to do is you have to put wood shavings on the floor. The level of wood shavings on the floor should be properly sieved, and they should be 6 inches. The sieving removes the small particles of the wood shavings that can affect the chicken, because when the chicken eat those small wood shavings, they can get stuck in the crop and the chicken won't be able to digest any other food, and this will lead to mortalities of the chicks. And also, if you don't remove the small wood shavings, when the chicken usually try to do the sunbathing, they will cause the respiratory diseases and problems. So guys, make sure you sieve your wood shavings. The wood shavings should be from a eucalyptus tree and must be preferred, because you have to avoid the coniferous tree. The coniferous tree usually bring most respiratory diseases on the farm. So guys, make sure when you are using the wood shavings on the floor, they must be 6 inch from the ground deep, and also they must be from a eucalyptus tree, which by the other name is known as a blue gum tree. And also, if you use the coniferous trees, they usually have a tendency of being able to keep those bacterial and viruses that can bring diseases like gapeworm, whereby the chicken will be gasping for air and they won't be able to be healed even if you are trying to give them the drugs that are used to treat the respiratory problems. So guys, make sure you use that. And also, another reason for the using of wood shaving is that the wood shavings help to cushion the chick, and also it helps to keep the temperature of the brooder warm. So what you have to do before you have placed your chick in the brooder, after you have placed your wood shavings, is that you have to put some newspapers on top. I was using the gunny bags before, but I realized that the gunny bags are not able to absorb the wet poop. So I decided to change to be using the old newspapers. The old newspapers will be able to absorb the poop. And also, another reason why we use the newspapers on top of the wood shaving is that when the small chick arrive, they usually don't know the difference between feed and the wood shavings. And also, if they feed on the wood shavings will get stuck in their crop, because their crop is still very young, and this can lead to the death or the mortality of the chick at a younger age. Another brooder preparation is that make sure you have preheated your room before the chicks arrive. As for my case, I was using electricity, but I found out the electricity cost was too high on my farm, so I decided to switch to charcoal, which is at least at an affordable price here in Africa. I know it goes against the environmental impact, but for every tree that we cut, we usually plant around 5 trees. And I realized the brooder pot that I use, it has enough temperature, and the temperature is evenly distributed in my chick brooder. And also also the electricity, I never used it highly because there were a lot of blackouts on my farm, and usually found like you have kept like 3,000 chicks in a brooder and the electricity goes out at around 9 in the evening, and it can come the next day around 10 in the morning, and you have to take care of the chicks. So I prefer to use the brooder pot, because the brooder pot will be able to keep the warm even if there is no electricity, because you'll be using your own charcoal, and that helped me big time. The preheating of the room is done 3 hours before the chicks arrive. After that, the required brooding temperature is between 35 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius. If you put more heat in your chicks coop, there will be a high likelihood of your chicks to develop something known as a pasty bath. A pasty bath usually is the chicks are unable to pass out the poop, and it comes and sticks around the excretion vent of the chick. This can only be corrected by using a warm cloth and wiping off the excretion vent of the chick, so with a damp cloth that has been soaked in warm water. So the temperatures in the chicks brooder will be lowered by 2 degrees every week as the chicks grows. If there is not enough temperature in your chicken coop, it will slow down the growth. This is caused by the chicks not eating, and the chicken will need energy to keep their body warm. So what will be the chicks getting the energy from? They will be getting the energy from the small feed that they are feeding on, because most of the time they are not feeding. So the small feed that they are fed is whereby they will be getting their energy from, and the warmth. So that will lead to a started growth. Another thing, make sure you are purchasing your chicks from a reputable hatchery, and this helps in proper traceability. Take steps to ensure that the chicks are healthy and free from disease, meaning you follow the biosecurity measures to the latter. Another thing is the quality. This means proper breeding of the flock and avoidance of inbreeding that can cause recessive gene, missing the loss of some important characteristics, e.g. laying or growth rate. Now we are going to the arrival of chick. After the arrival of chick, it is now the time to prepare your drinkers that you had washed initially a week before. That is a week before. Use clean water. If you have water that is coming from the county council, make sure you mix your water with milk. If it is chlorinated water, mix your water with milk and let it sit between 20 to 30 minutes so that the milk can neutralize the chlorine in the water. Mix 3 tablespoons of glucose in 10 liters of water. Mix the required multivitamin as stated on the sachet in water to give the chicks appetite. Mix the chick formula as stated on the sachet. The chick formula contains oxytetracycline, which will prevent the chicks from developing any gastrointestinal problems, since it was being transported in a carton, and whereby it was able to eat its own poop, and also help to prevent the developing of salmonella in the chicken gut. After you have done that, add some liquid paraffin in the water. Liquid paraffin helps in opening the gut of the chicken and making it easier for the digestion of the feed. Place the water in the brooder. After you have done that, count your chicks and see if you can identify the weak ones. This can be due to distance of travel from the hatchery, because most of hatchery can be very far away from your farm. After you have placed the chicks in the brooder, dip each and every chick's beak in the water to teach it, since you are the mother now, because it doesn't have the mother by now, to help it rehydrate. Because of the long journey, the chick usually have really been dehydrated. After that, let the chicks drink the water for 2 hours. The main reason you have to let the chicks before you have given it any feed is because of that liquid paraffin that will be able to open the gut of the chicken for proper digestion. After you have done that, if you have deep drinkers, you have to use small pebbles to avoid drowning of the chicks in the water drinkers. The feeders and drinkers of the chicks should be either yellow or red, because that is the color that the chicks can only see properly. And for feeding, I can tell you, for every 1 gram of feed consumed by the chicks should drink 2 grams of water for proper development. Guys, so make sure you take that into consideration. Our feeders should be a small tray whereby they can be easily accessed. The feed can easily be accessed. Make sure you are using feed that has small particles so that they can be easily ingested by the chicks. Don't use the feeds that have very big particles, because the chick usually pick out the big particles first before they pick the small particles. And for instance, you can find that the big particles are only the maize particles, which doesn't have enough protein. So guys, make sure you are using very fine feed, very fine, for the younger chicks, for uniformity of your flock. And guys, during this time, make sure you are checking your brooder after every 1 hour to check if you can find any weak chicks. If you find any weak chicks, you can assist them by helping them to drink water. And for the water, make sure the water that you have placed today, you make sure you change it after every 24 hours, and you wash your drinkers with soap. Don't just rinse them. Make sure you wash them with soap. Let it not have that slippery thing. That slippery thing can cause coccidiosis in your chicken. And also replace feed after every 24 hours. The required feed quantity for the first week is 25 grams per day for week 1. That is around 7 days. Make sure like on day 5, that is 48 hours before day 7, you should stop giving your chicks the chick formula, because it has oxytetracycline, only for the vaccination. You can give it plain water. On day 7, you usually give it the Newcastle vaccine. The reason why we are stopping to give the chicks the oxytetracycline is because the oxytetracycline can affect the proper absorption of the vaccine, of the Newcastle vaccine. So that's why we avoid the chick formula, because it has the oxytetracycline. The proper way is by administering through water. You use that vaccine, then you pour it in water. I will give you the measurements during day 7. If you have 100 chicks, on day 7, the amount of water that you have to use is 2 liters. This is after you have stuffed your chicks of water for like 4 to 5 hours. Then you use 2 liters of water for 100 doses. That is on day 7. If you have 200 chicks, you'll have to use 3 liters of water. If you have 500 chicks, you'll have to use 5 liters of water. If you have 1,000 chicks, you'll have to use 10 liters of water. If you have 2,000 chicks, you'll have to use 20 liters of water. If you have 5,000 chicks, you'll have to use 50 liters of water. For day 7, you have to administer Newcastle. Then day 14, you have to administer Gumboro. Then day 21, Gumboro. Then day 28, Newcastle. Then week 5, Fallpox. Week 6, fall typhoid. Week 8, dewormer. Make sure you are repeating Newcastle after 3 months. That is after 90 days. If you have followed all the steps that I have stated, guys, you will get 0 mortalities on your farm. I'm assuring you that. Yes, if you have bought your chicks from a reputable hatchery like our farm, Hen Chick Poultry Farm, I will put our contacts below, and here is our ad whereby you can watch our ads. If you are in Kenya, you can order the chicks from us, and we will really thank you big time. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoy it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I post videos every week. I will love to have you join the community, and let me know in the comment section what you have been doing in raising your chicks, and also what you will wish to see if in future videos. If you have any questions or suggestions, I'm happy to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.